If we consider the fact that this country is becoming increasingly sophisticated and more diversified in the face of ongoing globalization, I think it will be necessary to adopt a sunset agency formula, in which in a flexible and timely manner, the new responsibilities or requirements that arise will be assigned, just as in this case of establishing the Consumer Affairs Agency. Good afternoon to all of you. I am Seiko Noda. I am here today as Minister in charge of promoting Consumer Affairs Administration. I am responsible for 20 other portfolios, including science and technology policy, but also space development, countermeasures against suicides, and numerous other areas of important political affairs for this country today. So, in Nagatacho, our political community, I'm kept busy every day, day in and day out. People calling me Minister in charge of anything from frozen dumplings to rockets. As part of drafting the White Paper on National Life in May 2008, we researched the amount of damage done to the consumer in general, and the total amount of losses amounted to 3.4 trillion yen. That is the amount of money that went into unscrupulous businesses. In other words, money that did not go into the hands of honest businesses. So what we are trying to do is not tighten regulations, but rather seek to remove these unscrupulous businesses from the marketplace, in order to create a sounder market and to promote sound businesses, so that the consumers will be able to benefit, while enabling those sound businesses to develop here in Japan and globally as well. So what we are trying to do is create a win-win situation in which existing firms or new ones will be able to do sound business, while the consumers are also able to benefit. In the agency's budget, the 26 billion yen is to establish a fund whose purpose will be, for a 3-year period, promoting local-level consumer administration, in the form of establishing or expanding local consumer centers, or as remuneration for those consumer advisors who work at those local centers, or to increase the staffing. 9 billion yen is for the National Consumer Center of Japan, the core organization in this country, and will be used to increase its work in sending out to local municipalities work related to consumer administration. The budget for the Consumer Affairs Agency proper is 9.3 billion yen. One other important objective of establishing the Consumer Affairs Agency is to promote consumer education in this country. Unfortunately, I have to say that compared with the US, North America or Europe, we lag far behind. Perhaps there's been virtually no consumer education in this country, which means that there's a huge gap in terms of consumer awareness between safety and reassurance. For example, in the case of beef, even if the Food Safety Commission declares that this beef is safe in a scientific sense, this does not necessarily mean that consumers in general will take it at face value and be completely reassured. It's not just French beef. Japanese consumers have this feeling about all beef, and so a tough, rigorous inspection is required. So what I would like to do through the Consumer Affairs Agency is to nurture wise or wiser consumers in this country, starting from the viewpoint that in this world there is no food that carries zero risk, and step up consumer education and try to narrow or even close the gap in the awareness of the consumer between safety and reassurance. When I received the order from Prime Minister Fukuda, I was quite surprised to find 21 areas of responsibility. The question was whether mentally I would be able to really separate these 21 areas and come out with right answers for each. So initially, I really racked my brains over the questions. I have mentioned that the bureaucracy in this country is the favorite whipping boy of the Japanese public, the mass media, and the Democratic Party of Japan. But it is thanks to our highly capable bureaucracy, and thanks to this partnership with the bureaucracy, that I have been able to deal with these different issues: space development, science and technology policy, the contaminated dumpling incident, etc. The results I have been able to achieve in terms of science and technology policy and in other areas of my responsibility, as well as, for example, establishing this Consumer Affairs Agency, is the product of collaboration with the bureaucracy. In the recently passed large-scale supplementary budget, we have included some 40 funds, and these are for the purpose of paying out remuneration to science and technology researchers, or scientists and engineers. It will total 270 billion yen, out of which 9 billion yen will be paid out to each researcher. So this is a very dramatic development. So, if you're interested, I hope that next time I will be invited as Science and Technology Policy Minister.